So our goals in offering this grant is to enhance community facilities and capital assets that benefit our community. And since it was launched in 2002, the Community Capital Projects Matching Grant has provided hundreds of thousands of dollars in matching funds for community projects. And these have involved construction, renovation, or expansion of facilities for social, environmental, heritage, recreation, sports, beautification, and art or culture purposes. And you'll see there a picture of a learning garden, and this was funded in 2018 through the PAC at Castle Park Elementary. And this project included community participation and collaboration, as well as met a need in the community. Next slide, please. So just very quickly, who is eligible? So this is for Port Coquitlam based organizations, and this could include community social groups, service clubs, parent teacher groups, sport clubs, cultural organizations, environmental groups, and school councils, to name a few. All projects must occur within Port Coquitlam, and the benefiting parties must be more than 50% Port Coquitlam residents. So if you are a region serving group, so say for the Tri-Cities, it does need to be a project that's based in Port Coquitlam, and you will need to demonstrate that it will benefit more than 50% Port Coquitlam residents. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit about what isn't eligible. So any for-profit or fundraising ventures, professional development, events, capacity building, programming, operating. So that's through the Cultural Development and Investment Program, and the PoCo Foundation has many other grants that may be the right fit for you if you're looking for those kind of programming funding. The Cultural Development Program, which funds arts, culture, and heritage projects. And just one other piece for eligibility, if you have received prior funding through the Community Capital Matching Project Grant Fund, you will need to have submitted your final report to be eligible for further funding under this project. Next slide. So this funding is specifically for capital projects, and that means new construction, upgrades of community facilities, sports fields, playgrounds, environmental habitat, or indoor, outdoor sports areas. So it also includes capital assets that involve specialized equipment. So this is something that wouldn't be part of your usual course of yearly expenses. So the program funds may not be used to purchase consumable or regular program supplies or equipment such as uniforms, costumes, or food. And just a couple of things to help whether it is a capital asset would be, does it provide a lasting benefit? So something that wouldn't be a capital asset would be something that reoccurs after a short period. You'd rather, and if it is a capital asset, rather than replace it, you would repair it when damaged. It also gives a lasting benefit or advantage. So the name of this is a matching grant, and you can apply for up to 50% of the total cost of the project. So we accept requests that are a minimum of 1,000 up to a maximum of 10,000. So the total cost of the project budgeted can be more than that, but you can't ask for more than.
So this gives in details of what Melissa has just gone through. And at the very end of the document, it tells you about the scoring process and everything. It will also give you a sample of what is being asked, because we're doing an online application on Google Forms. So these are the questions. This is the contact information that we're asking, how much money. And then it will also have a link to a budget template. That's just a picture of the budget template. And then we have the list of questions that you're going to be asked on the form, as well as a list of documents that you might want to include for download on the form.
The start is just information, really straightforward, brief, fill in the blanks. So your contact information, whether you're nonprofit, charitable status, name of project, your cost of the project. So the total cost of the project, the funding request, so what you're asking from the foundation, the location of the project, just some different social media information if you have it, your website, if you have a Facebook or Twitter, the total of your organizational funds, and an explanation if there is a surplus. So if you have a large amount, just letting us know that that is allocated and where that is allocated. It's a really simple budget sheet. What we're asking you to do is just share what the organization's financial contribution is. So you can include volunteer labor. If you have volunteers that are going to be contributing to the project and the labor in the project, you would calculate that. And this is based on the City of Port Coquitlam's 2022 living wage rate. So that's how you would calculate your volunteer labor. If you have any donations of materials or supplies, you can include that. If you have any other financial contribution of other partners, so that could be a school board contribution or someone else, you would include that. And then what you're contributing as an organization. You'll get the subtotal of that, and then what you're asking from us should at least be equivalent to that, or the total could be higher of the financial contribution if you're getting any other government funding or revenue sources. And then your total, that would give you your total related revenues of what the project. And then the project expenses, again, very simple, just the estimated cost of your purchased materials and supplies related to the project only. Any equipment rentals you may need to carry out the project, professional fees and costs. So this would be where you may have a contractor do the work, or you can include the cost of an engineer. It's where we have to look into that feasibility study, if that's the one piece, transportation, shipping costs, and then any other. So you'll have ideally what your expenses, what the cost of the project will match the revenue you're bringing in to pay for it.
You can download this budget and then either PDF or send it in Excel format and attach it to the application form. And it will ask you that question. Okay, so because there's different sections to the application, this is your first section, so you have to answer all the questions that have the little red star before you can move on. And there are a couple things that have been built into it. So for example, up here, when it asked you if you're a nonprofit or charity, you can't put both. You have to pick one. It will stop you from doing that. Or if you haven't answered a question that has a red star, you won't be able to move on as well. Okay, so just wanted to let you know about that. So we'll go to the next page.
Great. So this is really where we want to hear about what your project is and what you're doing. So the first question, what are the objectives of the project? Tell us what you're planning to do. Why are you undertaking this project, and what do you hope to achieve? This is a really key one. This is one of the things that we're going to determine whether different scoring. So tell us about those things. And then what community need will be met once your project is built. We want to understand what makes your project or initiative unique, new, or innovative. So why is it needed, and what is that community need being met? So we're looking for things that are filling a bit of a void or not addressed in the community. Who will use this project? Who are the intended primary participants of the proposed project? So this could be organizations, it could be general public. You can include your members that may use it or individuals. And then we want to hear about, is this public benefit only? So this will primarily provide benefits or access to the community, or mixed benefits. So these are projects whereby the organization members and the community may receive direct benefits. So an example could be the school with the community garden. So where the school was using that, it was also open to the community to use that space. And then we have organizational benefit as a choice here, just to kind of get you thinking, because if it is only benefiting your organization and not the public, it is not eligible for this. So just think about that and come talk to us if you have any concerns or questions about whether you would be a good fit. And then we ask, will your project specifically engage a diverse audience and participants, children, youth, Indigenous peoples, or persons with disabilities? If there's any other partners involved in the project collaboration, so you can identify any individuals, organizations, or other partners who you will be working with in the delivery. And if you could describe their role and whether they are confirmed or pending. So this could be where perhaps if your school, you need to have that partnership with the school board, or if you have volunteers that are going to be providing something. And then we also ask, when completed, will the project require funding for ongoing maintenance costs? And this is because we want to know the project is sustainable and that that's kind of been thought of. So just think about that and who will be providing that ongoing maintenance costs.
I just also wanted to note the top questions are all paragraphs. So you have it's not just a short answer like I've put in here. I just did that so that it will allow me to move on. You will get a copy of this sent to you also once you've submitted as well. Go on to the next page.
And this is the document upload page where you'll see the different requirements. So we do need a copy of your bank statement, financial statement, and that's to verify that the funds are in place to match the amount requested, and or that the total unallocated surplus funds is 10,000 or more, isn't 10,000 more. Any sort of design, detailed shop specifications for the item or piece of equipment, we'll need a copy of that as well, included in your project proposal. So this will vary on the how detailed your proposal is. If you're asking for a specialized piece of equipment, it would be a quote for the cost of that, or if you're working on putting together something more complex, like a new building, we'll need kind of details around that. And we do recommend that professional design services be secured for complex projects. And as I said, that cost can be included as part of your contribution to the project. Any sort of playground equipment, warranties, confirm compliance with the Canadian Standards Association, written confirmation of gifts in kind if you're being gifted supplies or equipment, a letter from the property owner approving the project. So this would be if you're doing a playground on school property, we need a letter from the school board saying that they approve of that and they're on board with that. Similar if you're looking at a project with the city of Port Coquitlam, that you have connected with someone in the applicable department, such as our parks department or public works department, and that they are endorsing this project. And then letters of support from community members, community partners, or participants. So this is sharing and really demonstrating that community need and benefit, that parents are saying, yes, this is something that's important to us to have as part of the school, or that community members are the meaning that the community gardens have had, and why that's important to keep that. And then anything else that may be required. So if you require a permit or anything like that.
And just a note that there is limit to the size of the file. So I've set the limit on this to be a maximum of 10 files. You could put everything in one PDF as well, but the total size is 1 gigabyte. So hopefully we won't, that won't hinder anything that you're sending. And if it ends up you have something like a drawing that's just too big to send, then certainly contact us and we'll figure something out that we can do with that. Should go to the next page here, Melissa?
Yes, I think the next page is simply that you are authorized to submit this application and to sign it.
Yeah. So assigning means you type in your name, basically. Melissa, do you want to speak to the resources?
Sure, these are just a few different resources for grants. I know often it's helpful to know different opportunities that may be out there as well. So we just always include a few of these. So review and approval. So all applications will be reviewed for eligibility by a review committee and according to the requirements that we just talked about. So the committee will consist of PoCo Foundation board members, community members, as well as City of Port Coquitlam staff members. And if necessary, the city staff will connect with any appropriate city departments to review technical aspects and ensure the development plan is in accordance with city policies and regulations. And I'll talk a little bit about how we assess and give points to each of the applications. So first of all, we look at the matching dollar value. So at a minimum, we ask for a matched value to what amount is requested, and additional points are awarded in the total project if the total project value is in excess of the minimum amount. Next, participation and collaboration. So the project involves community participation, that we are looking for projects that demonstrate active community participation in planning and implementation of the project. And the level of participation, this has been some of the questions, will be directly related to the scope of the project selected. So we certainly don't, if you're doing kind of a smaller project, we don't expect you to canvass every person in the city. And we're looking for applications that are supported by, and could be, depending on the scope, collaboration with other organizations. The project impact and need, is it addressing a community need or a problem that, that is an identifiable public benefit, and that would receive the maximum points. Applications that don't really address what the document need or clearly indicate that benefit would receive lower points. And then points may be scored according to how well the need for the project is documented. And then project design, this is where the proposed project is cost effective, well planned, and ready for implementation, that the project's budget is reasonable projection of the expenses and revenues. And then lastly, recommended projects will be submitted to the PoCo Foundation Board of Directors for approval. And then the PoCo Foundation reports to council on all funding that has been distributed.